You got to tell the whole story of Xenu, and then pretty soon the only security guards that are going to be able to check the mail have to be OT3 security guards. You know, that's you got to dig. Whatever you send or whatever you do with Scientology, you got to put Xenu and body thetans in there, and that right there, that circumvents just the normal people being able to deal with it. It's got to be then handled by an OT3 person. But yeah, they check all the mail. If you mail something out, they check it. They can't talk on the phone. They can't get on the internet. These people have no way of interacting with society. This is at the Ant base. At the other orgs, I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not so familiar with, you know, what happens in London or what happens in Chicago. But yeah, you might send everything in Victoria's Secret packages. The security guards can't open Victoria's Secret packages because at the Ant base because of an incident where one of them or multiple ones of them were perving out with because they'd open the packages and they'd try the stuff on. So they can't open Victoria's.
Are you making that up, Mark?
No, that's actually, there's a whole story behind that. It would take me 2 hours to tell. But yeah, the people have there's things that have happened with Victoria's Secret packages that have done very good things for people at the Ant base. But that's a whole nother story. Anyway, and I don't have time because it's already 6:20. We only got 9 minutes left. Anyway, but that's why I'm writing a book, okay? Because I've got 15 years of stuff to tell, and I can't fit it into an hour here and an hour there, and you know, blogs and posts and all that. So, whatever. Anyway, there's no quick version, dude. Anyway, so yeah, so that's but the Xenu, the body thetans, all those types of things are things that people can do that'll at least if the Scientologist gets back to their place and they do have internet, they can just type in what's up with the Xenu thing, you know, and they'll Google it, and then they'll read that, and then they'll just be like, "You got to be kidding, man!" You know, wow, that it's really true. There is a Xenu thing because a lot of the stuff you read on the internet, when you're a Scientologist, as soon as you read it, it all makes sense to you. You go, "Oh my God, that's why I couldn't do this, or that's why I could never do this." And once they read the Xenu thing, that's the other thing. So once you read the Xenu thing, it takes you about a week if you're a Scientologist, because after you read it, you think you're going to die. So after about a week, and you don't die, and you don't get sick, and you don't like develop, you know, tumors or anything, then you go, well, it's bullshit. It must be bullshit, because I just read OT3, and I haven't gotten any auditing, and I'm not dead, so there you go. Boom, it's bullshit. And then the whole thing falls apart. So anyway, before I go, I gotta say a few things on people, because I am a declared suppressive person. So I can't talk to my family. I can't talk to my mother. Her name is Trudy Hensley or Trudy Headley, and she actually lives in Ohio. And she won't talk to me because I'm a declared suppressive person. My sister worked at Gold at the Int base, and when I blew Gold in 2005 and left, she was not allowed to talk to me ever again, so I haven't talked to her in 3 years. I don't know where she is. I heard from somebody that she might be in Toronto somewhere. Haven't heard from her. Don't know what the deal is with her. My wife's mom, her name is Jen Witt, and she works at Yahoo in Los Angeles. So any anons that work at Yahoo, you know, get in her ear. She's got 2 grandchildren that would love to meet her, and they're her only grandchildren, I might add. And then my wife's dad, his name is Hugh Witt, and he's the executive director of the Beverly Hills Mission, the Scientology Mission. And at Christmas 2004, he was getting major shit for crossing something that David Miscavige had done, and he was basically in deep trouble. And he told me the story, and his story was a contributive reason of why I ended up saying, screw this, I'm out of here. Because he was being basically, his whole family and his whole existence was being threatened by David Miscavige because of just the stupidest thing in the world. So Hugh Witt is his name. And you got 2 grandsons, dude. They'd love to see you. Anyway, and then my wife's brothers and sisters, her brother Rob Witt of La Crescenta, and Kirsten Witt of La Crescenta, and her other sister Rebecca Witt that goes to CSUN in Northridge, California. We love you guys, and your sister misses you, and whatever the cult told you about us is total bullshit, and we still love you no matter what. So yeah, and then of course my dad is totally cool. He's been doing interviews, and he's trying to track down my sister. I think that's basically what he's going to do, pretty much, is try and find out what happened to my sister, because, you know, she's always been a daddy's girl, and now because he's not a Scientologist and he talks to me, my sister won't talk to him. So he's been disconnected. He's basically the practice of disconnection, the mysterious, non-existent practice of Scientology, has now affected him, that he can't speak to his only daughter because he assisted me when I left the church. So he kind of got like caught, which really sucks. I mean, it's kind of like a toss-up. Does he help me and not talk to her, or does he not help me and then maybe I end up back in the fold? So, you know, unfortunately, he kind of got caught in the middle of my bullshit, and now he can't talk to my sister. So anyway, so that's kind of rough. But he's doing all kinds of stuff, and he's definitely getting the word out. And he right there, that's a you know, rock solid fact that disconnection exists. He's not a Scientologist. He never said anything about Scientology, and he kind of just played along so he could talk to my sister. And then I leave, and then boom, he can't talk to my sister. It's like, how does that work? He didn't do anything. He was just, you know, just being a dad. And, you know, next thing you know, he loses a daughter because of it. So anyway, if there's any other questions, I know we got 3 or 4 minutes, so if anybody wants to, you know, put anything on the chat there.
Well, you know, it must be hard for your wife. I mean, you got 2 small children, and, you know, that support system. I know when I talked to Astra the other night, you know, it's her sister Zoe and her dad, and essentially just like you, they've been cut off from the other half of their family. And, you know, she has her daughter Kate, and, you know, Kate doesn't know her grandmother. She doesn't know her aunts and uncles, and all she knows is her Grandpa Larry and her mom, and that's just it's how somebody like Tommy Davis can get on there and just flat out lie to people, and that no one questions him. I mean, you know, sure, the CNN guy tried to get him to talk about it, and they have a job to do. They can't really get into a confrontational fight with these guys, but at some point, you know, mainstream media's got to stand up and say, hey, you guys are lying, you're full of shit, come clean, you're ruining families. And I just want to know when that day is going to happen, because it's shocking to me how long this has gone on. I mean, 30 years. Totally.
And that's the other these guys, they don't, when they get interviewed, they're always, you know, even that guy on CNN, they're kind of, you know, lobbing softball questions at them. They don't really, and the Scientologists know that. Tommy Davis knows that. Dave Miscavige knows that. They're not going to go on some show where they know they're going to get thrown under the bus and it's just going to be a total, you know, fest. They're not going to do those shows, and they make these really, really tight restrictions and say, listen, these are the questions you can ask. And if you ask any other questions, we're gonna take you to the cleaners. And this is it. You know, it's very, very, very arranged, and it's very, you know, preconceived on what we're going to be able to talk about. And even when that guy kept, you know, I was waiting, is he gonna answer on the disconnection thing? And sure enough, Tommy does the normal Scientology thing of just talking over him, and you know, and then he never answered.
His obnoxiousness showed through. I'm sure anybody who was not familiar and was watching that was like, who is this clown? Before we run out of live streaming, and obviously all of this will be in the archive, I want to say good luck tomorrow, Anonymous. Be careful.
Yeah, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there at the LA protests, so I'll be there in full force with everybody, and So Marc Headley will be at the LA protest, and rock